Hey there, beautiful people. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. It's your girl LTK, and if you are new here, thank you so much for stopping by. And if you've been here before, hey girl, hey, nice to see you again. So today I'm going to be bringing you guys some of my favorite makeup brushes. I mean, these brushes are going to give you the most flawless complexion base every time. So if you're new to makeup and kind of aren't sure like what the different shapes of the brushes can do for you and how you can use different makeup tools to get your ideal look, then this video is for you. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the brushes that I use pretty much on a daily basis, as well as demo how I use them to easily achieve the outcome that I'm going for. So if you're interested in that, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button below, and let's go ahead and continue into the video. Alright, so starting off with foundation, I usually go in with one of two brushes. The first one being this one. This is the NYX 22 foundation brush. I love this brush because it has a nice tapered effect, so it's a little bit more dense here if you want to build up the coverage of your foundation, and if you just want to even it out or just like a sheer coverage, you can go ahead and go in with this more fluffier side, and it really allows you to kind of customize the build and finish of your foundation. So on days where I want something a little bit more lighter coverage, I'm probably going to reach for this brush. But on days when I want full glam, which is what I went in with today, I will go in with my Morphe M439 brush. It is pretty much a pretty dense kabuki brush, and you can use this to not only apply your foundation, it's really good for that, but the way that this brush is created, you can also use it to buff in your foundation as well. So this is going to give you the fullest coverage application, as well as a nice even layer of foundation, while keeping a lot of that coverage directly on your face. For my contour, again, I'm usually going to go in with one of two brushes. The first brush is this brush from Huda Beauty. It's a dual-ended brush. This one is more of a fluffier, you know, just like powder brush. And then this is like an angled, dense brush as well. And it fits really nicely in the hollows of the cheeks. So this is really good for cream products, really building up that bronzer, contour. You could even use this for blush if you like. Any cream products that you're going to be applying on an angle, this brush is really good for that, and kind of just takes the legwork out of finding the placement. But for today, I actually went in with my other favorite brush from the Sephora collection. This is the Sephora collection, the number 47 brush. And I love this. I remember one time I was watching I'm forgetting his name. I was watching J-Lo's makeup artist do her makeup, and I think he has his own brush line. He came out with a brush like this, and I remember it so much because he called it the cat paw. And this definitely is shaped like a cat paw. If you can see, it's really straight and narrow, and then it kind of flexes up, and it's dense and then kind of flares out as you get to the top of the brush. Love this. He used it to apply foundation, and I've actually never used it for that. I might give that a try next, but I actually use this again just to go in and apply my cream contour products, my bronzers, any contour, and sometimes even blush, but mostly using this for cream bronzer or contour because it concentrates most of the product at the base of my cheekbone, and then naturally, because of the way the brush is shaped, it's going to flare or blend out a little bit of that product actually on my cheekbone, which is the gradient effect that I'm hoping to achieve whenever I have, you know, cream contours. I want it to be really concentrated right in here, and then kind of flare up, you know, into the cheeks. To sculpt out my eyebrows, I always go in with something like this. This brush came in a set. It's from BH Cosmetics, one of the very first sets that I ever bought when I was getting into makeup. And I love how the flat like cut of this brush really just allows me to be precise whenever I'm carving out my brows. And you guys know how important brows are to shaping the face. So the tool that you use to carve out your brows, believe it or not, is pretty important. And you can find a brush like this pretty much anywhere. You just want to make sure that this is the shape that you're looking for. To blend out my concealer, I usually go in with a Morphe brush. This is a really old one. You guys can see like all of the finish is gone, but it still works. This is the Morphe E8 brush. I have so many of these, and this is great for really blending out your concealer. In my opinion, it is the concealer version of the Morphe M439 foundation brush. This brush is going to pick up as minimal product, period. So if you want your concealer to be really full coverage, you don't want it to be really sheared out, I highly recommend going in with a brush like this, something dense, really, that you can just press the product in, keep it in its place, and it's not gonna lift a lot of your concealer from your face. So that's how we get this flawless under eye using the Morphe E8 brush. For cream blush, I will usually go in with something like this, something a lot fluffier for my liquid blushes, because I don't want a whole lot of payoff. I just want a little bit of color, because I am gonna go back on top of it with an actual powder blush. So something like this that's really fluffy, almost something that you would use to apply a powder blush, is what I use to apply my cream blush. And this is the Morphe M450, and that's what that looks like. And so you'll see me really just lightly feathering that product into my skin and on top of the high points of my cheeks as well as my temple, really to start to create that shape and color placement for my liquid blush. And it just, a fluffy brush like this makes it really easy to nicely diffuse that product evenly without looking like a clown. Because you know, if you know, you know, you can go a little heavy-handed with the blush and then all of a sudden you can't really fix it. So building up little by little with something like this, I have found gives me the perfect finish, perfect look every single time. Now that all of my cream products have been applied, I usually like to go in with a sponge. And these are just some $5 beauty sponges that I get from Amazon. I'll have them linked down below. And I will take this sponge and usually just marry all of my products together, using this to buff away any additional harsh lines so that everything lays nicely. You can't really tell where like my contour starts and stops, where my foundation starts and stops. It just really blends everything together, leaving my skin perfect for when I'm about to set it. This is critical. I mean, I don't really spend that much money on sponges, because I think for a pack of like maybe 6 of these cost me, like I said, anywhere between $5 and $10 on Amazon, and these get the job done every single time. I lightly will wet them. You know, I'll make sure my sponge is just a little bit damp. I don't want to be able to squeeze any water out of it. I just want it to be, you know, a little damp, and then I will spray my face with some setting spray and go ahead and just buff away any harsh lines, really giving me the most flawless, seamless blend before I actually go in and set my face. So now it's time to go in with our powder products and to set the face. Also an Amazon favorite. I have absolutely, like the rest of the makeup world, been loving these little triangular puffs from Amazon. I love this sponge because it is so multifunctional. The triangular shape really allows me to get into my tear duct area, a way that a brush or just regular powder puff has not been able to do in the past. And I can really get, you know, into the inner corner, right up in that lash line, and set in my under eye and anywhere that I'm going to highlight. I can also fold it and really get precise when I'm setting down the bridge of my nose. Of course, I can use it to set my forehead. The shape of this powder puff really is what makes it a standout product. And then if I want to, and I'm using this to set the rest of my face where I haven't highlighted, I will flip it on the other end and use that to kind of set my foundation with a powder and just, you know, take it like I would any other powder puff. So I have really been enjoying these. And then once I set my face with it all, I use the exact same puff to bake underneath my eyes and anywhere that I applied concealer to really give me that highlighted look. as well as carve out my cheekbones to really give me that sculpted look. So I love that powder puff for that. This is my favorite brush of all time to go in and set my bronzer. This is from the Sephora Pro collection, and it's essentially, do you guys remember fan brushes? It's kind of like that, but it's on a slanted angle. It's denser at the bottom, again, a more dense brush, but then gets really fluffy here at the top, so I can kind of build up that coverage as well as shear it out whenever necessary. This is the Sephora Pro collection Demi Eventail brush number 72. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if they make this brush anymore, but if they do, I will make sure to have it linked down below with the rest of the brushes that I mentioned. But yes, I absolutely love this brush for easily getting into the hollows of my cheeks. It naturally follows just the curve C shape of my face when I'm taking my bronzer from my temple all the way down to my cheekbones, and it just naturally makes creating that C shape so easy. You guys see what I mean? Also from the Sephora collection, this is the Sephora Angled Diffuser brush in the number 60. It looks like this. This is probably my favorite brush for blush of all time. Like, if I can only pick one, it would be this one. Following the theme, really dense in here, but then it gets really fluffy up top, really making it easy to build up where I want to build up, and then diffuse and kind of shear out the product wherever I want to shear it out. I also love that this brush naturally just hugs my cheeks so beautifully, and it just takes the guessing out of product placement. That's really what I'm looking for when I'm looking for brushes. Anything that's gonna make my makeup application easier and less thinking for me, that's what I'm looking for. And because of the tapered effect, you naturally get some blush underneath the eye placement, or at least I do for my face shape. So it does this thing where it like fuses your concealer and your blush together automatically. Like, I don't have to go in and try and recreate that because of just these really sheer tips of the brush here at the top. It's gonna do that for you. Whether I'm using cream or powder that day to contour my nose, I am using one of these two brushes. I absolutely love them. This brush is from Morphe. I think they're both from Morphe, yeah. This is the Morphe E62 brush, and you guys can see the shape. Again, it has that nice angled cut, so it makes it really easy to get into the, you know, hollows to create that shadow for my brows. And it just curves right along, like from the tip of my eyebrow all the way down to the tip of my nose. It just makes that so easy and so easy to control. I don't have to think about it. Today, however, though, when I really want a snatch nose, I will go in with the Morphe M572 brush and start at the bridge of my nose to get it super narrow and defined. I'll go ahead and use the same brush to flare out the product into my brows, just to, you know, make sure everything is seamless in the center of my face. This has taken the legwork out of thinking of product placement when it comes to contouring your nose, because if you mess up the nose contour, the face is ruined. You have to start over. You have to start over. So this brush and the Morphe, what is this? E62 brush, I've never had to start over ever since finding these. I absolutely love them. Okay, usually at this stage is when I will go in and do my eyebrows, and lately I have really been enjoying a brow powder rather than going with like a pencil or a wax or anything like that. So I have religiously been using this brush. I think this is from, yeah, this is from Anastasia Beverly Hills. It's their number 12 brush. And it just has this really nice sharp angled tip right here, which makes it really easy to create natural like hair strokes on my brows, and then to, you know, make sure I again distribute the brow powder evenly. It also has a spoolie on the end. Now for this brush, it is pricey. It is a pricey brush. I do have cheaper alternatives. I think they're dirty. I don't see them right now. But like, I've picked something shaped like this, like I said, from Ruby Kisses from the beauty supply store. I'm sure Morphe has one. You can get a brush like this anywhere. I will say though, I do think it's worth, if you can afford it, to splurge on the Anastasia Beverly Hills one. It just has lasted, and something about the firmness, I don't know, like the density of the brush itself, it just makes it really easy to create those strokes, versus I've noticed when I use my Ruby Kisses one, I have to apply a little bit more force. Like I have to fuss with it a little more to get my brows to look the way that I want them to look. But with this, I just brush those bad boys right on and I'm good to go. So if you can afford the splurge, I would say that this is worth it if you are a powder brows, you know, type of gal. All right, let's quickly talk about lash application. Lately, I have been using a lash curler. Nothing special about this one. I don't even know where I got this from. Just pick you up a lash curler from anywhere. And I use this lately to kind of curl my lashes before I apply them, like curl them at the lash band. I have found that my lashes just sit on my eyes so much more flattering, and they're a lot more comfortable when I use this technique. So I would say that this is a must-have, as well as this tool. So this is just, you know, some lash tweezers, but I much prefer tweezers like this versus the standard, you know, old school tweezers that we had back in the day. I find that the shape of this just allows the easiest placement when applying my lashes. And I just started using this recently, and it has really made a difference in just, like I said, the comfort level, the placement of where my lashes are. And I feel like they just, combined with the curling and this tool right here, they just look better than ever. So love that. And then lastly, of course, we have to go in and dust off all of our powders, set everything together. And usually for that, I have been loving this brush. This is a BB brush. I'm pretty sure I got this from like TJ Maxx or Burlington or something. It came in a set, but just a fluffy powder brush will do. You can find these dime a dozen anywhere, but if you can get it in a set, go ahead and do that. Go ahead and do that. I really love this brush because it just applies a nice sweep of your finishing powder, you know, everywhere, and doesn't completely erase all of the work that I've previously done. So there you have it, girl. Those are some of my favorite brushes to getting a flawless makeup base. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, let me know if you guys want me to do an eyeshadow version of this video. I will be more than happy to create that for you. Let me know what you thought of the brushes that I showed and demoed. Have you tried any of them? Are you now looking into any of them? I would love to hear about it and chat with you guys down below in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I will see you beautiful people in my next one. Smooches.